process of reactivating the Puto iron ore mine. That will boost job creation and accelerate development in Grand Jire County and the southeastern region. Growing global supply pressure, our actions have helped lower the cost of essential goods. Prices have eased for rice, flour, and fuel, relief that families can feel in their daily lives. For instance, 25-kilogram bag of Indian parboiled rice now retails at $14.50, a 100-pound bag. Fuel has stabilized at $4 per gallon, helping to reduce transport costs. We strengthened supply and quality by completing a 17,000 cubic meter fuel storage tank and a modern testing laboratory at the Liberia Petroleum Refinery Complex, thereby improving storage capacity, fuel standards, and national energy security. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I commend the Vice President and the Price Committee for acting to prevent unjustified price increases that harm our people. Let me be clear. Business that exploits consumers will be held accountable. Job creation remains a top priority for my administration. Our job creation strategy has focused on addressing the binding and structural constraints to growth, including investment in roads, energy. In this connection, we have created more than 70,000 short and medium-term jobs across the infrastructure, agriculture, social protection, and small businesses, among other sectors. Going forward, the Youth Entrepreneurship and Investment Bank project launched in 2025 will support 30,000 youth-led businesses, creating over 120,000 direct and indirect jobs for the youth. A national employment acceleration strategy focused on agriculture, public works, skill training, and support to small enterprises has been finalized. This will facilitate more Liberians to earn decent livelihood with dignity. Honorable members of the legislature, on January 15, 2025, the Liberian government launched the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development 2025 to 2029 and the 15-county development agenda in Buchanan County. These initiatives reaffirm the country's commitment to Vision 2030, focusing on delivering measurable results to decisive implementations. The current budget allocates $290 million for capital investment in public sector investment projects, making this one of the largest recent government programs. The Arrest Agenda aims to diversify Liberia's economy beyond extraction and boost productivity through more than 370 interventions across sectors like agriculture, infrastructure, energy, tourism, governance, education, health, and sanitation, targeting annual growth above 5%. The broader goal will include raising GDP per capita above $1,050 by 2029, reducing the trade deficit and lowering poverty risk. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Madam Pro Tempore, and members of the legislature, I am pleased to report today that we have made substantial progress across key sectors, including agriculture, the heart of the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development, and the driver of job creation, food security, and growth. In 2025, over 198,000 farmers received government support, leading to expanded rice and cocoa cultivation and increased agriculture output. Infrastructure improvement, including the completion of 166 kilometers of feeder road, have reduced transport costs and enhanced market access, resulting in 33,755 Liberians moving from food insecurity to food security. In 2026, we will prioritize agribusiness, scaling rice production, expanding mechanization, operationalizing the One County, One Priority Commodity Program, and improving sector financing through new banking legislation. Additionally, the introduction of Liberia's first fiberglass semi-industrial fishing vessel, the Sea King, marks a milestone in boosting domestic fish production and food security. The government encourages private sector investor engagement to drive inclusive agriculture growth. Mr. Speaker and members of the legislature, nearly 3 years ago, I assured the nation that roads will be our focus, not as a slogan, but rather a commitment to connecting communities with opportunities. In furtherance of our commitment, we focus on restoring key corridors and expanding secondary roads. We increased Liberia's paved roads from under 12% to 20% and maintained more than 780 kilometers of major roads, ensuring year-round access. Connectivity improved between Burraville and Buffalo, Salaye and Medicoma, Tapita and Zedru, as well as Buchanan Greenway, reducing costs and easing hardship for citizens. Key roads like Ganta, Sakripe now 56%, Sakripe Tapita up to 92% have advanced, while Kiripo Fishtown route is now fully paved. Additional projects, including the Buchanan Greenway Highway, are in the pipeline, thanks to partner support from African Development Bank, World Bank, and others. Efforts will be made to Vahu more accessible to the rest of the country via road. The Army Corps of Engineers will play a role in delivering this initiative. In our ongoing commitment to maintain road access for our citizens, I am pleased to announce that the widely discussed 285 yellow machines procured by government last year are currently being shipped. These assets will be situated at the county hubs and used to support road maintenance efforts and form crucial part of our disaster response preparedness efforts across the country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the legislature, fellow Liberians, we continue to make progress in connecting county capitals and major assets. Although the RIA Road Corridor project faced delays due to ongoing orders and challenges and changes in scope, we are still able to increase the length of the pavement from 20 to 25. With the audit and rescoping nearing completion, full work on this corridor is expected to resume in 2026. The Private Port Concession Agreement, which is designed covered under this agreement, the St. Paul Bridge to Bow Waterside, Medina to Robertsford, and Medicoma to Vonyama corridors. Construction on this project, urban improvement on alleyway The program also provided electricity to two universities, ABC and Cottington, two hospitals, Riverside District and Mother of Light Rehab, and is strengthening the cross-border grade in Nimba, Bong, and Margide counties. Mount Coffee Hydro Power remained reliable. Outages decreased. Electricity sales rose by 24%. Revenue topped $71 million, and collection efficiency reached 94%. Further investment in reforms of LEC will aim at addressing inefficiencies, stabilizing the utility, and ensuring reliable services. In 2026, we plan to have 100,000 new connections, deploy advanced transmission lines and smart meters, reduce system losses by 35%, with more improvements ahead. Major projects underway include 250 megawatt gas to power plant, the 200 megawatt solar plant and storage, and a new hydropower project on the St. John River alongside existing solar, thermal, and hydropower capacity totaling 700 megawatts. Through our digital initiative, we created a new ICT strategic action plan to modernize the national telecom framework, and half of the government agencies have transitioned to unified ICT system. By November 2025, 56% of these entities had fiber optic networks installed, and 80% of the critical ICT infrastructure was secured with cyber security measures. Digital finance advanced with mobile money,
use rising from 46% to 58% in 2025. The central bank launched the Inclusive Instant Payment System, enabling real-time transactions and cross-border payments across Africa. Mobile network coverage expanded into underserved areas, improving access and participation in digital economy. The National Port Authority remains a critical gateway to Liberia's economy. Following my visit to Morocco last November, the Moroccan Port Development Entity agreed to invest in equipment and logistics for the Port of Monrovia, breaking a long-standing monopoly and boosting competition. Master plan for the Port of Monrovia and Buchanan have been developed. Tariff reforms are driving revenue growth. Further upgrades will include dredging the Port of Monrovia for larger ships, easing congestion, reducing costs, and introducing 24-hour operation. At Rabat International Airport, significant upgrades were completed, including the reopening of taxiway Bravo, rehabilitation of the apron and the jet bridge, and installation of a new navigational aids. These improvements were finalized ahead of the Turkish airline inaugural flight on May 11, 2026, representing a major advancement for the Liberian aviation. Additional, an agreement has been assured with a South Korea-made group to develop a ship recycling center and establish private-public partnership domestic airline in Liberia with an initial fleet of 3 aircraft. Mr. Speaker, the honorable members of the legislature, public transport is a vital service that every Liberian deserves. The National Transport Authority has long faced neglect with deteriorated infrastructure and unchecked corruption. We are changing that. Last year, we procured 64 buses, now deployed and serving Liberians nationwide. We also broke ground for a modern NTA headquarters, a step that will enhance service delivery and transform public transportation in our country. Since 1948, Liberia's maritime program has been central to our economy and global standing, featuring the world's largest open ship registry and skilled mariners. Recent modernization initiatives in the sector include domestic watercraft monitoring program with AIS,
the first in decades, and vessel monitoring system technology for enhanced safety. The unified data-driven reform adopted in 2024, access to quality learning for all children has been guaranteed. Teachers' dignity was restored by removing over 1,000 good names from the payroll.
Consequently, over 2,000 qualified volunteer teachers were hired across all counties. Through the age 88.7 million Excel project supported by the World Bank and the Global Partnership for Education. We prioritize literacy and numeracy from grades 1 to 3, ensuring basic skills at the third grade. Our national digital learning platform now reaches remote villages with multimedia lessons, including sign language support. Also, 156 schools have been equipped with computer labs, and nearly 300 teachers have received technology training. Still under education, we improved the learning environment by supplying over 26,000 desks and chairs, one child, one chair initiative. We also invested in building model schools in Bonk, Margibi, Nimba counties, in addition to renovating 40 schools and distributing 22,000 STEM kits. Through partnership with Tuskegee University and Booker Washington Institute, young Liberians will have the opportunity to further technical training in a host of vocations. Our national school feeding programs supported more than 239,000 students. Transparency and governance improved with the annual school census covering 6,394 schools after a 4-year pause. The launch of a digital school pyramid platform and expanded scholarship with local recipients increasing from 378 to 1,000, while all arrears for 210 students abroad were settled. Funds were also allocated to renovate the University of Liberia and public schools to address congestion and improve facilities. To further demonstrate our commitment to education, funds were provided for the renovation of the University of Liberia and several public schools across the country. This intervention will address the long-standing post-Civil War problem of congestion. Last year, the health sector saw significant improvement. Maternal death dropped nationwide. Immunization coverage for children under 1 reached 88%, and medicine stock out decreased from 95 to 5%. We thank Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, for strengthening Liberia's immunization program. With their support, Liberia has expanded vaccine access and improved public health while meeting all co-financing commitments for the first time in 10 years. We recorded significant progress in addressing infrastructure constraints confronting the health sector. Reconstruction work on the C.H. Rennie facility in Margibi County is underway at a new Kakita location, where it will now include a midwifery school. Construction work on the neuropsychiatric hospital in Bensonville is now 75%, while work on the regional diagnostic center in Bond County is 85%. To support the continued delivery of quality services in the sector, a new midwifery training program has been initiated at Buchanan Community College, and budget allocated for a smooth operation of the ERWA hospital. Data is vital for planning and response. So the government set up a National Health Intelligence Center to improve data-driven decision-making. The system has demonstrated effectiveness, as recent data indicate that tuberculosis notification rose by 7.5% over the past year, while audience and mortality
incident and mortality decreased by 28% and 49% respectively. Our efforts against drug abuse intensified with the launch of the Liberia First National Anti-Drug Plan, providing strategic roadmap to reduce both demand and supply of illicit drugs. By close of the year, over 800 at-risk youth were enrolled in recovery programs. Mr. Speaker, the honorable members of the legislature, poor sanitation and limited access to clean water have long threatened public health, especially in urban areas like Monrovia, where 42% of the citizens lack basic sanitation facilities. In 2025, we completed the Buffalo water system, commenced new water supply projects in Greenville and Plebo, and began the rehabilitation and expansion of the Shredru water supply system. These projects are set to benefit over 43,000 persons. The 48-inch White Plain to Monrovia pipeline project is nearing its first phase of completion. Plans are underway for the remainder of the project, which is expected to benefit over 1 million residents in Montserrat County. Years of conflict left many Liberians vulnerable. In response, the government expanded social protection program to ensure fair opportunity for all citizens. In 2025, the Save the Future project integrated more than 8,000 street children into safe environments and enrolled over 2,700 out-of-school children. Over the past 2 years, around 13,500 children were reunited with their families. About 4,000 of these have returned to school, while over 3,700 caregivers gained support through grant training and family programs. Thanks to the philanthropic support, we have received 5 containers filled with various materials such as clothing, shoes for children. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection is collaborating with the Ministry of Education to make sure these items are delivered to school-age children across the country. Under the Realize project, the government provided income support through cash transfers to over 15,000 poor households, delivering over $1 billion Liberian dollars to help them cover basic household needs. The Liberia Women Empowerment Project also reached 3,300 women with income support and is expanding to benefit over 32,000 more women across several counties. These efforts promote economic opportunities and household welfare. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the legislature, fellow Liberians, young people who make up over half of the population are Liberia's greatest asset. This year we advanced youth deployment by launching the National Youth Policy 2025 to 2030 and the Youth Peace and Security Action Plan. We increased job, skill building, and livelihood opportunities for vulnerable youth and women. Through the Realize project, more than 15,000 young people received support for income generation and training, and over 1,400 youth completed technical and vocational programs. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the legislature, ladies and gentlemen, sports unite people and foster discipline, teamwork, and national pride. To support this, the government and the B Mountain Mining Corporation are launching football academies in both Bon and Montserrat counties, creating direct routes to national teams and encouraging professionalism and growth in Liberia's sports sector. We prioritize at-risk youth with drug prevention and rehabilitation and upgraded the Youth Agriculture Training Center. Mr. Speaker, members of the legislature, providing adequate housing remains a priority. Many Liberians live in overcrowded, insecure conditions. To address this, the National Housing Authority will begin building 600 social housing units across 6 counties in February this year. Mr. Speaker, members of the legislature, Liberia's long-standing governance challenges have contributed to weakening our institutions and decline in public trust. My administration is committed to restoring confidence through the strengthening integrity, accountability, and transparency. A step in this direction is a requirement for heads of institutions to sign performance contracts and comply clearly with defined standards under our new established performance management and compliance system. Working with the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, we secured 11 indictments, obtained 2 convictions, and had 1 acquittal. 4 prosecutions are ongoing. Meanwhile, we enforce administrative measures by suspending or dismissing officials involved in misconduct. Additionally, we have strengthened asset declaration rules and introduced ethics textbook in schools. The General Auditing Commission made major strides, completing 94 out of 105 audits. This includes the domestic debt audit from 2018 to 2023, which rejected over 704,000 million US in unsupported claims. For this first time, a system audit of the House of Representatives for 2021 to 2024 was conducted with a report expected in March 2026. Compliance with audit recommendation rose from 13% in 2024 to 37% in 2025. And we keep working with the legislature to ensure the General Auditing Commission can fully carry out its constitutional duty to protect the public interest. My government is advancing legal reforms to make e-procurement the standard and to promote fair, inclusive participation. In 2025, the Public Procurement and Concession Commission moved Liberia's procurement system forward by expanding electronic procurement and strengthening oversight in over 50 public entities. These steps will tighten controls, reduce waste, and support the arrest agenda for inclusive development. In 2025, justice and security were strengthening by expanding access to justice, improving criminal prosecution, and upgrading correctional and judicial facilities. Logistical support to key law enforcement agencies was enhanced. The Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency seized nearly 10 metric tons of illicit drugs and arrested over 550 suspects, while the immigration sector enhanced border security and migration process. The Liberia National Fire Service boosted emergency response with more than 10 new fire engines and over firefighting equipment. These initiatives have increased public trust in the justice and security system compared to pre-2024 levels. To address congestion at the Edward Kesali Military Barracks, we renovated the Camp Jones Military Barracks in Margibi and Camp Grant Military Barracks in Nimba County. This has accommodated the relocation of over 600 soldiers, improving living conditions for our military families. During the year under review, we made significant progress in improving civil service. We placed more than 3,400 long-serving volunteers in education and health onto the national payroll. To boost morale and productivity, we increased the salaries for over 23,000 frontline workers in health, education, security, and agriculture. We are also strengthening the system for the future. Merit-based hiring is being reinforced through a new civil service testing center, and staff welfare is improving through automated legal services. Finally, we are committed to investing in our employees by offering a 50% salary advance option, expanding long-term loan program, and providing additional training opportunities both at home and abroad. My administration strengthening protection by enforcing key environmental biodiversity laws, updating climate commitments, improving access to climate finance, including the establishment of the Climate Carbon Market Authority. Additionally, we took steps to further conserve our treasured flora and fauna by initiating the process of clearing the Sapo National Park of intruders to open it for tourism and attractions. We also established a modern environmental laboratory, ratified the biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction agreement, and decentralized environmental governance. Liberia remains committed to responsible stewardship, ensuring that environmental protection, economic growth, and prosperity advance together for this generation and the next. Honorable members of the legislature, land governance remains a persistent challenge that affects livelihood, food security, culture, the economy, development, and climate change. Poor management has led to land grabs, dispute, and social conflict. In 2024, we imposed a moratorium on the public land sales to prevent speculative land grabs. It was lifted only after establishing clear guidelines and a standardized national deeding system in 2025. These measures now ensure full land allocation is fair, transparent, and accountable. In 2025, the government continued decentralization effort by deploying counter-service center coordinators across all 15 counties and serving over 32,000 citizens and boosting local revenue generation. County development planning units and treasury assessment, strengthening fiscal management. A comprehensive review led to the reclassification of cities based on legal criteria. To promote participatory governance, more than 1,800 traditional leaders were appointed, and the National Assembly of Chiefs was convened in 2025 in Buchanan County in November 2025. Lastly, the government was advanced institutional reform by passing the act establishing the Ministry of Local Government, a major effort in advancing decentralization. To bring services closer to citizens, passport centers were opened in Ganjire and Bon counties, making it easier for people to access identification documents locally. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the legislature, my foreign policy is guided by a firm commitment to international systems grounded in the United Nations multilateralism and international law. I believe these are vital for global cooperation and peaceful conflict resolution. In 2025, we worked to restore Liberia's international credibility and reestablish it as a respected member of the global community. Our foreign policy now prioritizes national interest, integrity, and resolve, focusing on tangible benefits to Liberian and strengthening our country's standing. Liberia's election to a non-permanent United Nations Security Council seat for 2026-2027, with 181 out of 193 votes in the General Assembly vote, demonstrate renewed global confidence in our leadership. This historic achievement raises Liberia's profile and enables us to contribute to international peace with emphasis on women, youth, climate, stability in our region. Liberia continues to play leading roles in ECOWAS, the Mano River Union, and African Union. We have also deepened our bilateral relations with the United States of America, evidenced by extending B1, B2 visa validity for Liberians from 12 to 36 months and launching a $124 million health partnership. In the past year, Liberia strengthened ties with France, Serbia, Morocco, China, Barbados, Bahamas, UAE, Rwanda, Mano River Union, ECOWAS, African Union, and European Union. Economic diplomacy is now a clear priority. We are shifting from aid dependent to trade and investment. We have engaged over 50 foreign and diaspora investors in priority sectors, agriculture, energy, and infrastructure. Honorable members of the legislature, Liberia's progress in 2025 reflects renewed international credibility. As we take our seat on the UN Security Council and strengthen regional leadership, this administration will pursue a foreign policy that promotes peace, prosperity, inclusion, and national pride. Liberia is also set to strengthen its global standing by hosting international meetings. To this end, we have undertaken the construction of the Mano River Union Presidential Center for Regional Peace development in Foya, Lupa County. The facility is fully owned by the Liberian government and includes 500 include a founder's seat conference hall and secure accommodation villas for visiting dignitaries. We are also pleased to acknowledge the invaluable contribution of the Angie Brooks Women's Center Situation Room in the promotion of peace and democracy. It is also commendable that the United Nations Security Council has recognized them as an exemplary mechanism for monitoring potential hotspots, incidents involving violence, harassment, and intimidation. The Mountain River Union Presidential Center will serve as a significant resource for their efforts in the future. Mr. Speaker, members of the legislature, the Liberian diaspora is not just our family abroad. They are a vital national asset, bringing skills, capital, and pride to Liberia's development. In 2024, we pledge to strengthen diaspora engagement, and I am pleased to report real progress. The inaugural Liberia Diaspora Conference in Washington, D.C. led to clear recommendations, including the establishment of a diaspora commission. We will soon bring this proposal to the legislature. Across the country, diaspora entrepreneurs and professionals are returning to invest in infrastructure, agriculture, health, education, and technology. Many are also building homes and launching new enterprises. We recognize these efforts through the Year of Return program. I must also stress that we are appalled by the distressing losses suffered by members of the diaspora community in various housing projects, including the Millennium Estate housing project. We will continue to work with all parties to ensure justice for those impacted. Mr. Speaker, the honorable members of the legislature, a nation that refuses to reconcile hinders its own progress and remains bound to the weight of the past. As such, reconciliation is essential to our growth as the nation's progress in healing and growth for future generations. My administration has taken meaningful steps, including implementing Truth and Reconciliation Commission recommendations. Last year, we reburied former President William R. Tolbert Jr. and Samuel K. Doe Sr. with dignity and respect, and we formally apologize on behalf of the Liberian state for its role in the conflict. These actions were a necessary step towards healing, acknowledgement, and national closure. We are considering Reconciliation Commission and have established the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Court, which has completed draft laws for your review. Reconciliation, however, does not mean forgetting, nor does it mean abandoning justice. True reconciliation must include justice to ensure lasting peace for Liberia. Mr. Speaker and members of the legislature, in my address to the Roma body last year, I extended a hand across the political divide and called on compatriots in the opposition and others to join us in building an inclusive government. Today, I want to renew that call. During the year in review, the nation mourned the loss of several prominent citizens. Among these were Judge Lavinia V. Ashton, former probate court judge, former dean of the Louis Otto Graham School of Law, Honorable Dr. Emilia Angeline Hope Ward, former Minister of Planning and Economic Affairs, Nimba County Senator Prince Yomi Johnson, Honorable George Musu Freeman Sumo, former Senior Senator from Montserrat, Honorable Ambassador James T. Toppin, former Liberian Ambassador, Federal Republic of Nigeria, former Ambassador to the Republic of Benin and Republic of Togo. Honorable Dr. El Mohamed Sharif, former Vice Chair of the Council of State, Liberia National Transition Government, Madam Nancy Bondo, former First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Sylvester M. Grigsby, former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs and Chief of Staff to the President, Republic of Liberia, Professor Florence Serena Blyden, former Professor, University of Liberia, and a host of others. A fuller list will be published. Mr. Vice President, Madam First Lady, Mr. Speaker, Madam Pro Tem, and members of the legislation, Mr. Chief Justice, Associate Justices, and members of the Judiciary, Madam Dean, and members of the Cabinet. In conclusion, I invite us to pause for a final moment of truth, guided always by supreme interests of our country. Beyond the progress we celebrate today, there remain unresolved matters that continue to weigh on the national conscience, affect our dignity, and demand decisive action. Accordingly, I will take the following steps without delay. First, I will ensure that we continue to comprehensively review our concession framework to correct historic inequities in the extraction and management of our national wealth, and to ensure that Liberia and its people receive fair and lasting benefits. Second, I will take immediate action to resolve the long-standing issue of relocating Palm Grove Cemetery, where the remains of our former president and this is a matter of national honor, historical responsibility, respect for those who serve our republic. Third, I will act to rehabilitate the decaying public buildings in Monrovia and across the country, restoring dignity to public service, safeguarding national assets for future generations. Fourth, I will initiate the process of laying out Monrovia, the major cities throughout Liberia, consistent with recent decentralization initiative and in accordance with the newly enacted zoning law of Liberia. Fellow Liberians, we began the journey together with a firm belief that Liberia's potentials are unlimited. That belief remains unshaken. Over the past year, we have deliberately built on the progress already made, strengthening confidence and restoring hope that the promise of the nation can indeed be unlocked for the benefit of all. After another year of service, we can say with confidence that the state of the nation is stronger than we last 2 years. The gains we have recorded are not an end in themselves. They are foundation and clear proof that purposeful leadership anchored in service can deliver results. These achievements affirm our belief that Liberia's best days are ahead of us. Yet, we must not become complacent. As we deepen the implementation of the arrest agenda for inclusive development this year and beyond, we move forward with resolve, courage, clarity of purpose. We are guided by a simple but enduring truth. Leadership is not defined by titles or privilege, but by humility, fidelity to our oath, and honor to the Republic. We are here to serve the Liberian people, not to serve ourselves. If our purpose strays from service, disappointment will follow, and the truth will be unavoidable that we belong elsewhere. Service is the measure of leadership. We stand today at a defining moment between our past and our future. The choices we make now will determine whether we advance or fall behind, whether we honor or betray the hopes entrusted to us. Let us therefore commit together with one heart to move forward and not backward, mindful that what we do today will shape the Liberia of tomorrow. Let us govern, legislate, and judge in the supreme interest of the Liberian people, knowing that history will render its verdict on whether we rose to the moment or changed the course of our nation for better. With faith in God, confidence in our people, and love for country, I ask all of us to think Liberia, love Liberia, get up here.
Yes, sir.
God bless
We are still in our legislative session, so please have your seat. Please have your seat. Please have your seat. Distinguished and esteemed honorable members, having exhausted the purpose for which we have gathered here today, the presiding will entertain a motion to dissolve this joint legislative session for today. I hereby recognize Senator Nyang Twain Jr. of Nima County to make the motion. Senator, the motion is yours.
Mr. Speaker and Presiding Officer, Mr. President and Vice President of the Senate, Mr. Vice President and President of the Senate, Madam Pro Tem of the Liberian Senate, Honorable Deputy Speaker and distinguished members of the 55th Legislature, having satisfied the requirements of Chapter 6, Article 58 of the 1986 Constitution that requires this legislature or the legislature to convene in a joint session for the purpose of receiving the President's annual message, I move, if I can obtain a second, that this joint legislative session of the 55th Legislature adjourn.
The presiding will hereby recognize the Right Honorable Ellen Ator Rang of Electoral District Number 3, Magibi County, to acknowledge the motion and second it.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Pro Tempore, Honorable Vice President, Honorable Deputy Speaker, distinguished members of the 55th Legislature. Having listened to the motion proffered by the Senator Yang D. Twain from Nima County, I, Honorable Ellen Amaka Ature, from District Number 3, Magibi County, do hereby second the motion for adjournment.
Thank you. Distinguished and esteemed honorable member, it has been moved and seconded that having exhausted the purpose for which the legislature convened in a joint legislative session, the legislative session is hereby adjourned and is hereby so ordered.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Message by His Excellency President Joseph Nima Boakai. Honestly, 1 hour 24 minutes he spoke for. Not too long, not too short, enough to have allowed him to outline all of his achievements and his legislative agenda to the national legislature. But I want to start up with the end of the matter, because at the end of the president's speech, I just want to read directly from some of the last paragraphs at the end of the speech. He said, after another year of service, we can say with confidence that the state of our nation is stronger than we last 2 years. The gains we have recorded here are not an end in themselves. They are a foundation and clear proof that purposeful leadership anchored in service can deliver results. These achievements affirm our belief that Liberia's best days are ahead of us, yet we must not be complacent. Pablo Anthony, I think that statement alone consummates everything the president said in his 1 hour and 24 minute address he did to the national legislature.
Well, Tamba, the president was confident, he was authoritative as to what the state of the republic is. He meant what he said. I think he touched all sides of the country, the economy, the security, roads, infrastructure. He talked about Liberia's reaffirmation for MCC Compact. Well, he talked about some of the legislative programs that he wants to see the legislature enacted. And so I think I was looking at his posture. He was very confident. He said that 70,000 jobs were created. Well, that is backed by data. I was just talking about the National Employment Acceleration Strategy. That's